Hello everyone, I am the Frogger Engineer. Welcome to my video where I want to show you a really simple circuit that I have built using an Arduino 7-segment LED display, a few resistors, a few cables, a circuit board and a 5 volts battery. I will leave the schematics and the code in the description below. This is a simple design where I have built a circuit to generate 7 random numbers that I can use to fill an Euro-Million tickets. This is a really popular lottery game here in the UK and in general in all Europe, where you need to select 5 numbers from 1 to 50 and add 2 extra numbers, or they call it stars as well, from 1 to 12. As you can see, really simple logic to build with the code, but I thought it was a really good first experiment to show what we can build with just these few elements. And let's review together how I built it again, but I will leave the schematics and the logic under. Okay, so let's review the schematic of the circuit that we have built. First, I want to apologize, it's a little bit of a mess. Probably for the second version I will change a little bit the layout, but to be honest, for me it was the easiest way to do it at the moment. As I said, we had 8 resistors at 220 ohms. The exit G, the pin G, is going to go to the pin 2, the digital output. We're going to have the F here. It's going to go through the third exit. Number A, so we can see here in blue, it's going to go to the fourth. And the letter B, apologies, is this purple one going to go to the 5th exit, right? Then we have the A, yellow one goes to the number 8, D goes to the number 9. Here the C1 in red, it goes to the number 10, and the purple, it connects to the number 11. Then we have the ground, just connect here the ground to the ground here, the digital. And this schematic is quite simple, maybe a little bit chaotic, but something that we can do easily, or it's a little bit easier to build, but I might do a second version a little bit better to test. Okay, so now it's turn to review the source code. It's not the most ideal one. I realize I made a few mistakes, and well, not mistakes maybe, but it's not the ideal code. So first, obviously the setup. What we have here is this line of code. What it allows us is to initialize the serial input, and we are going to do that because we want to generate a random seed reading the analog read. What is going to happen is the analog read will catch some noise, and that will help us to generate a random seed. Because if we don't do that, when we generate randoms, it's going to generate always the random numbers, the same random numbers, because obviously it's a pseudo random. So this is a good way to kind of generate those, right? Then, to be honest, this part I should have deleted it. I'm not using it. Part, but it's part of the future. Is my idea was to create an array of pins, so it was going to be easier to utilize. In the end, I went for another view, but shouldn't have done that, to be honest. Anyway, going back, going to the main loop function. I initialize a couple of variables that we will see in a moment, and then I have the first loop. So the first loop, what it's going to do is going to generate those 5 numbers that I was telling you about, that goes from 1 to 50, and then they will display them. After that, a series of things will happen, and then we will generate the 2 starts. Okay, this is another for function really similar to the other one, but obviously with a maximum of 12 because the Euromillions only has those stars are from 1 to 12, right? Yeah, okay, cool. So going deep into the for function, first we then obviously we generated the random number, right? And as you realize, we can have numbers from 1 to 50, but the LED display can only display elements from 0 to 9, right? So if we get a 12 or we get bigger than 9, we are not going to be able to display it. So what I did is, okay, let me do a really simple mathematical function, and then I will get the tens decimal, so the tens number, and the one that goes in the ones, right? So then what I do is when I display it, I have two numbers for those that are bigger than 9. Then I call a function. We'll see what numbers to pin does in a second. But basically, I take the first figure and I show it. Then I apply a delay. I switch all the LEDs off. We'll see that also in a second. Then I apply another delay, and then I represent the amount that goes in the figure. So what I'm going to do, you will see later in the demo, is show the number. So the first number of the figure, and then apply a delay, switch all the LEDs off, and then go for the first number. Perfect. Then I just serial here and just for debugging purposes, but this is not necessary. Going quickly, jump to the functions what I have here. I call this function is really a really simple switch case, and then I call functions. I call functions. For example, if we want to paint a 0, it's here in this case. Then I apply the digital right. This is not ideal. This is not ideal because if I want to switch the cables and connect it to other exits of the board, it's going to be quite complicated for me to update all of this, and I realize yes, actually not now, but maybe for the future video we'll improve it a little bit, so maybe I can apply it just to some variables or even use the array that you have seen above. But yeah, not ideal. I have all of that from the same numbers. I just apply it. So from 0 to 9, and also have one that is DP on. So this is to enable that that dot that could represent the decimal point, but I'm not using it exactly for that. And then on all of all the LEDs goes so all the exits switch them to off, so I can then switch off all the LEDs. Going back here to the top. Oops. For that. Going back here to the top of the going back here to the top. Once I go through all these loop, then every time I go through that loop, what I do is switch it off. Again, this is just only for debugging purposes. Switch all off. Switch DP on just to let me know that I'm switching through numbers. And actually, that's important for me to know if I finish that number, so I know I'm jumping to the next one. Because obviously numbers bigger than 9, I won't know unless I have something that indicates me that I'm switching to the next number. Then in order to tell me that I'm switching to the stars, because it's a little difficult to just keep in mind, I'm just switching on and off the dot LED on the 7 LED display. Again, this is just for testing purposes. I apply here another loop that goes through the stars. Really similar code. Exactly the same actually that we have seen before. And then we need switches. When it finishes, I just do an infinite loop of those numbers. Just a small, I will leave this code above, but to be honest, I'm not super proud of this code because this was a mistake. Maybe I did it and I just started copy paste, but this is a problem if you want to do it because it could be really a problem. Here, for example, I started using a loop, but I don't know why I switched that. I guess I was getting a little bit lazy and I didn't realize. So this is some mistake, but we'll fix it in the next version. So this is the code. Of course, if you have any comment or any suggestion, more than happy to read your comments. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Then let's switch now to do the proper demo to show how it works. Okay, so let's go with the last part of the demo. Again, what we will see is a series of numbers. If beeping on the 7 LED display, if the number is bigger than 9, we will see 2 numbers and then a beep on the dot LED. If the number is smaller than 9 or equal to 9, we will see just that one number and then the beep. So that's telling us that we have that. We'll have, again, 5 numbers, 3 beeps, and then the 2 starts, and then it will just beep constantly. So we connect it. Okay, we got a 4 and a 4. 44, the first number. We got a 1 and a 1. We get an 11. Next number, 4. We got a 4. 2, 23. Last number, 3, 34. And now we get 3 beeps. We pass to the starts. The first start is the 9. And then the 1 is a 6. And then it beeps constantly. Super silly experiment. To be honest, nothing super crazy, but I thought it was a good idea to show. I have plenty of ideas to improve this design. For example, we can use this, just looking if I have it in hand. For example, instead of pressing the button, because now if we want to see the numbers again, we'll have to press the reset button, so it's not ideal. I'm thinking maybe for the next experiment I can just use this one to just reset it. Other thing that I can improve, we might get sometimes repeating numbers, and it's not ideal. I need to improve the logic. And also, it would be nice to first calculate the random numbers and then show it in order, because they wasn't in order, and the silly game expects you to be in order, right? And well, that's everything I wanted to show you. Hope you like it. This is my first video in YouTube, actually. So hopefully you like it. Maybe there will be a little bit of interest in this kind of topics. Arduino experiments have plenty of ideas. So you like it, just, like it and maybe subscribe or add your comments with ideas. It will be super useful. Well, thank you everyone for watching it. See you soon.